Hello, students. It's me, Mrs. Beard, your instructor from Speaking Masters. Have you ever heard a presentation where the person just started right in talking in all details about their subject? They go on and on and on, and you don't know how many points they're going to make or what their final conclusion might be. It becomes very hard to listen to. You get bored and lose interest. That's because those speakers have not done the work to organize or to use any techniques to help the audience prepare for what they're going to hear and to stick with them along the journey. That's what we're going to talk about today. How you can use two techniques along with organization to help your audience stay with you and become engaged throughout your presentation. Those two techniques are signposts and stage usage, or you might say area usage. So let me explain how we're going to use those two things to help you keep your audience on track. Now you remember that, of course, our speech has an opening, a body, and a conclusion. And in the opening, after our attention getter, we give the audience a little preview of what they're going to hear. We use 3 main points in the body, and in the conclusion, we summarize those 3 points before we give that final punchline. Let me give a demonstration using signposts and space usage, and then we'll debrief, talk about exactly what I did and how I used those techniques. You may not know this, but I'm a world traveler. I've been all around the world. But there are 3 places that I found that I love the most. Those 3 places are Disney World, the Grand Canyon, and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. In Disney World, I feel like a kid again. I love the amusements, the costumes, the marchers, the parades, everything about it. It reminds me of a joyful time in my youth. The second most favorite place I've ever been is the Grand Canyon. Oh, the rugged beauty of raw nature. So vast, it's awe-inspiring. It's a different kind of enjoyment than you have at Disney World, but it's still one that makes an indelible impression on your heart. My third favorite place that I've ever been is the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, my home state. It's got vast virgin forests. It's got beautiful wildlife, birds, and of course the Great Lakes. Lake Superior and Lake Michigan, I love to swim in them, even though they're very cold, or as I like to call it, refreshing. There are 3 places that I've told you that I love the most: Disney World, the Grand Canyon, and Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I hope when you take your vacation that you can find some place that makes that beautiful impression on your heart, and you can come back and tell me the beautiful memories you've created. Now, what did I do in that speech? You see that I used my signposts right here at ear level. And when I was done, dropped my hand back down to the neutral position. As I went from my first, second, and third points, I used my stage presence. And even when I was in my second position and referred to the first point, I pointed over into that area. I gestured because that's where I was when I was speaking of my first point. Finally, when I was done speaking, I came back to the center and I took a little step closer because I want to express that intimacy with the audience when I'm talking about my heartfelt feelings. If you use these techniques of signposts and stage presence in your communications, in your presentations, everyone will say, wow, you're really a great speaker, because you will have shown mastery over organization and communication and stage presence. There's so many people who do not have those skills, but when you practice them, they'll become second nature to you. So that's what I want you to do. When you're practicing your speech, whether that be in front of a mirror, in front of your family or friends, or recording, make sure that you practice using signposts and stage movements. By doing that, you will become a phenomenal master of communications, and I'm looking forward to hearing your next speech where you have implemented these skills.